The last post message came at 1:14 a.m., a sharp ping that shattered the silence of my apartment. I was awake, as always, the weight of old regrets keeping sleep at bay. The notification glowed on my phone. From a social media account I hadn't touched since I walked away from journalism 10 years ago. The sender was anonymous, a string of numbers and letters, no profile, no trace. The message was for words, "You missed the real story." Attached was a PDF, a single financial ledger page from Ardencorp, the pharmaceutical giant I'd tried and failed to bring down in the 90s. A $12 million transfer to an offshore account, dated 3 days ago. Scrawled in digital red ink, they never stopped. My hands trembled as I opened the file. The ledger was familiar to familiar, echoing the documents I poured over decades ago when I exposed Ardencorp's price gouging and falsified trials. That story had cost me everything: my job, my reputation, my belief in justice. Witnesses disappeared, evidence vanished, and Richard Hale, Ardencorp's CEO, walked free. His smirk burned into my memory. Now, this message, this ghost from my past, was pulling me back. I didn't sleep. The city outside my window hummed with distant sirens, the air heavy with October rain. I opened my laptop, the screen's blue light harsh against my tired eyes, and dug into the PDF's metadata. It was scrubbed clean, no origin, no sender. Whoever sent this was careful, but not careful enough to stay silent. They wanted me to see this. They wanted me to act. By dawn, I was at my kitchen table, the PDF printed beside yellow clippings from the Ardencorp case. My granddaughter, Mia, shuffled in, her hoodie swallowing her slight frame, her dark hair a tangled mess. At 19, she was a computer science student, her world one of code and logic, not the messy battles of my past. She glanced at the papers, her eyes narrowing. "Grandma, you look like you're hunting someone," she said, grabbing a mug for coffee. I forced a smile, my voice tight. "Old ghosts. Nothing you need to worry about." She didn't buy it. Mia never did. She sat across from me, her gaze sharp. "What's Ardencorp?" I hesitated. Mia was brilliant, her mind a steel trap for patterns and puzzles. But this was dangerous. Ardencorp wasn't just a company, they were a machine, crushing anyone who got too close. Still, her eyes held mine, unyielding, and I caved. I told her about the message, the PDF, the anonymous sender. I expected her to shrug, to tell me to let it go. Instead, she pulled her laptop from her bag, her fingers already moving. "Show me," she said. I opened the social media account, the message still there, a ton in black and white. Mia's brow furrowed as she scrolled. "This account's a ghost," she said. "Created an hour before the message, deleted 10 minutes after." But they slipped up. She opened a terminal, lines of code flickering past. "The IP's from Chicago. Ardencorp's HQ. Someone's close to the source." My pulse quickened, a cold prickle running down my spine. "You got that from a deleted account." She grinned, but it was sharp, predatory. "People think they can hide. They can't." The next few days were a descent into a world I thought I'd left behind. Mia became my shadow, her laptop a weapon. She hacked into the platform's back end, pulling fragments of data the sender thought were gone. I fed her scraps from the original case, Ardencorp's rigged trials, the patients who died, the executives who buried it all. The PDF was a spark, but we needed a fireproof. They were still playing their deadly game. Mia found it. She accessed an old server from my newsroom, where I'd stored unredacted files from the Ardencorp case. Most were locked, but Mia's scripts cracked them open like a safe. The files matched the PDF, payments to shell companies disguised as research grants, funneled through offshore banks. The same pattern I'd chased 20 years ago. Now bigger, bolder. $12 million was just one piece of payoff to silence a scientist who'd flagged in new drugs' lethal side effects. "They're killing people," I whispered. staring at Mia's screen. The number stark and accusing. Mia nodded, her face grim. And they're sloppy. I found a deleted folder on your old account. Posts you never published. Someone saved them. She opened the folder. Drafts of articles I'd written in a haze of fury after the case collapsed, detailing Ardencorp's bribes to regulators, their ties to a shadowy lobbying firm, a whistleblower who'd vanished days before testifying. I thought they were lost, wiped when the newsroom purged its servers. But someone, maybe the anonymous sender, had preserved them. A digital time capsule waiting for this moment. Whoever sent that message, Mia said, her voice low. They're on your side. But they're scared. I didn't want to pull Mia deeper. But she was relentless. Her eyes burning with a fire I recognized from my younger self. She set up a secure server in her dorm, mirroring the data so we could work without leaving a trail. She taught me to use encrypted channels to mask my IP. You're old school, she said, smirking. But you'll learn. The deeper we dug, the darker it got. Ardencorp was still rigging trials, hiding deaths, paying off doctors to push their drugs. Mia traced the $12 million to a shell company in the Caymans, then to a private account in Richard Hale's name. Every transaction was coded, buried under layers of false fronts. But Mia's scripts peeled them back like skin. She found emails, too, between Hale and a fixer named Victor Crane, discussing containment of the scientist who'd raised the alarm. One email chilled me. She's asking questions. Make it stop, I said, my voice barely audible. The scientist. They're going after her. Mia's fingers paused on the keyboard. We need to move faster. The air in my apartment felt heavier, the walls closing in. I wanted to go to my old editor to blast the story across every front page. But Mia shook her head. They'll bury it, she said. Like last time. We need to hit them where they can't recover. Her plan was reckless, a high-wire act with no net. She'd written a script to leak the data not just to one outlet, but to a dozen under her pseudonym. Truth Century. The leak would include the PDF, my old drafts, and new evidence she pulled from Ardencorp's servers, memos admitting to the cover-up, financial trails, even a recorded call of Hale ordering the scientist's silence. She'd embed a tracker in the leak, a digital snare that would flag regulators if Ardencorp tried to move money or erase files. It was a guillotine, poised to drop. This is illegal, I said, my heart pounding. If they trace it back to us, they won't, Mia said, her voice steady. I'm routing it through proxies, bouncing it across servers in 3 continents. They'll never find us. I stared at her. My 19-year-old granddaughter who turned my kitchen into a war room. The stakes were higher than I'd ever faced, higher than the threats I'd gotten in the 90s. The slashed tires, the late-night calls warning me to back off. This wasn't just about exposing Ardencorp. It was about surviving them. Do it, I said, my voice a whisper. She hit the key. The upload was silent, the progress bar ticking like a bomb. Within minutes, it was done. The files were out, sent to reporters, bloggers, even a whistleblower hotline. Mia leaned back, her face pale but triumphant. Now we wait. The wait was torture. That night, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I didn't answer, but the voicemail was Hale's voice, low and venomous. Ellen, you're meddling again. Stop, or you'll regret it. I played it for Mia, my hands shaking. She didn't flinch, just opened her laptop and checked the tracker. He's moving money, she said, trying to cover his tracks. Too late. By morning, the story broke. Ardencorp faces new fraud allegations. The headlines were relentless, the leaked documents spreading like wildfire. Hale's name was everywhere, his face gray in a rushed press conference where he denied everything. My apartment felt like a bunker, the windows dark, the air thick with dread. Mia's tracker pinged constantly, flagging attempts to delete files, transfer funds. Regulators were closing in, the FBI issuing subpoenas. Then the knock came. Heavy, deliberate, at 2 a.m. I froze, my heart in my throat. Mia grabbed her laptop, her eyes wide but steady. "Stay here," I whispered, creeping to the door. Through the peephole, I saw a man I didn't recognize, tall, broad, his face shadowed under a hood. He knocked again, harder, then slipped something under the door, a note, scrawled in black ink. "Back off or she's next." I stumbled back, the note burning in my hand. She wasn't me. It was Mia. I showed her the note, expecting panic, but her jaw tightened. "They're scared," she said. "That's why they're doing this." She opened her laptop, her fingers flying. "I'm escalating," she said. She sent a second wave of leaks, this time to international outlets. With a new twist, a list of Ardent Corp's board members, their private emails, their offshore accounts. The tracker flagged a panic response. Hale's team was shredding digital files, but Mia's script had already archived them. "They're done," she said, her voice cold. Hale showed up the next day, unannounced. His suit wrinkled, his eyes wild. I met him on the porch, the door locked behind me, Mia inside with her laptop. "Ellen, call it off," he said, his voice cracking. "Whatever you're doing, stop." "I'll pay." You paid enough," I said, my voice like ice. "You buried patients, silenced scientists, ruined lives. For what money?" He lunged forward, his hand gripping my arm. "You don't know who you're messing with. They'll come for you. For her." I yanked free, my heart racing but my voice steady. "They already tried." I nodded toward the window, where Mia stood, her silhouette calm, her laptop open. "She's better than you? Better than all of you." Hale's face crumpled, fear replacing fury. He knew. Mia hadn't just leaked the files, she'd rigged the trap to tighten with every move he made. The tracker had flagged his accounts to the IRS, the SEC, even Interpol. His empire was collapsing, his allies turning on him. The note under my door was his last desperate play. And it had failed. "You can't prove anything," he whispered. But his voice was hollow. I handed him a printout of the latest headline: "Ardencorp CEO faces criminal charges." She already did. He left, his steps unsteady, his world in ruins. The fallout was swift. Ardencorp stock crashed, their drugs recalled, their board indicted. Mia's leak sparked a federal investigation, lawsuits, a congressional probe. I didn't write the story, I didn't need to. Mia had finished it, her code sharper than any pen. That night, as we sat in the dark, her laptop closed, I asked her why she'd gone so far, risked so much. She looked at me, her eyes fierce, unyielding. "Because they thought you were broken," she said. "Because they thought I was nothing." She sipped her coffee, turned back to her book. I watched her, my granddaughter, my partner in this shadowed war, and felt the fear ebb, replaced by something fiercer. We weren't broken. We were relentless, and we never looked back.